Hi, I'm Nancy Gunter. My family and I have been attending EAC since the mid-'80s. Back then, we had a very small staff. Sal Sienna was our pastor. Jim Duncan was music director and all the other things, including youth minister, children's minister. Beth was my best friend, and she was also the church secretary. During that time, Beth was called to go to Ukraine on a mission trip. It ended up Beth took a leave of absence for a year and ministered in Ukraine. She taught English, but she also taught the Lord. One of the best things Beth did was bring back Anatoly, her interpreter, who now is over every home for Christ over all of Ukraine. And by the way, we need to be praying for Ukraine right now. Jim, our youth minister and music minister, he and his wife Jenny felt called to go to Belize, where they started a ministry, they started a church, they started a Christian school, they started a Christian radio station, and they were there over 20 years. Jenny went home to be with the Lord about a month ago, and I'm looking forward to seeing her again someday. Beth and Jenny and I, before they went on their mission trips, we met at my house every Saturday morning to pray, have coffee, and just fellowship. Some of the sweetest ladies I've ever known, and the Lord used them in a big way. Some of the things that Larry and I did when we were still in the old chapel, we had small groups, and when we built our home, we decided we would see what the Lord wanted us to do with our house. We ended up having every Friday night a group of people there. Most of them were middle-aged married people with children, and we would study the Bible in the living room, and the children would play in our playroom. And some of those children you see here today in church with their children, because this was over 30 years ago. We were in our old building here, which has a precious meaning to me, the old building, especially the chapel, and especially the nursery. I had the privilege of working in the nursery with two of the most wonderful Christian, actually at that time, senior people that I have ever known, Jean and Hank Woods. Everyone loved Jean and Hank. They loved those children so much, whether they were in the baby bed nursery or toddlers. And our grandchildren loved them. They adored them. Jean would even take every toy home every week and wash it, make sure it was sanitized before bringing it back for the next week or Wednesday night. Jean and Hank were some of the most wonderful people that I've ever known. I'm looking forward to seeing them in heaven someday. I'll tell you a funny story about that. Our granddaughter, Haley, our oldest granddaughter, we kept her every weekend. And she was only about 18 months old, just starting to talk. And she loved Miss Jean and Mr. Hank and loved our children's nursery. And the cutest thing happened. The sermon would be piped in for the adults. The children are playing. You don't think about children listening. Jolene came early one week to pick Haley up. And Haley, as she walked in, Haley looked up to the speaker that was giving the sermon, and she said, "That's God talking, Mama." And we realized every Sunday we would say, "We're going to God's house today, Haley." So she actually thought that was God talking to us in the nursery. As time went by, we were outgrowing our little church over there. We especially needed more room for our young people. We needed some place that the teenagers could go and hang out. We needed a place that was close to the church, and there was a vacant lot right across the street. We decided that the Lord really needed that lot for our church. One Sunday after our service, we all walked across the street. There must have been 75 of us. We joined hands and we prayed for that piece of property. That's where we are today. The Lord did it. Look what He did. From a little 75-member church over there to where we are today. Just wonderful how good He was. I'm a grandma. I had 6 grandchildren. We saw every one of these 6 grandchildren either dedicated, baptized, or accepting Jesus in that building across the street. Not that I don't love this building, it's just that it holds so many special memories over there. I think of things that We've been involved in the small group, the children's ministry, little children. I look at the young people out here and I think, I remember when you were taking a bottle and wearing diapers, and they don't, of course, remember that. About 18 years ago, we had started a daughter church, and 70 of us went up there. And during that time, I started a Bible study of ladies. Every other Thursday, ladies come to my home, our home, mine and Larry's home, and we have a Bible study. The material is furnished from our library here, and it was furnished from the daughter church that we had at that time. I've been so thankful for the ministry of Alliance Church. I've seen it bring people to the Lord. I've seen relationships established that have been lifelong. And all I can say is God has blessed, and He continues to do it.